Folks, Kai Davis here. I'm super excited to get underway with today's presentation. And just as a heads up, if you have any questions about the material I cover in here or the topics I bring up, feel free to just share those questions in the Zoom chat. We're going to have a Q&A session after the webinar presentation and tackle all the questions we have time for. But anyways, diving into today's presentation, we're going to be talking about what is good SEO anyways. If you're working on growing your Shopify business and you have a goal of ranking higher in Google, you're most likely going to be working on search engine optimization already. But if you're doing SEO, well, you want to make sure you're doing good SEO and not bad SEO, and you're focusing on the things that are important for today's internet, not, SEO in the web a year or 5 or 10 years ago. But what even is good SEO these days? I found the best way to answer that question is to start by answering a highly related question. What's Google's job anyways? Well, Google's job is to help the searcher, the person using their search engine, find the most relevant information for their search. So for example, someone is searching for CBD for cats. Google wants that person to find high quality, trusted websites that feature the information or the products that searcher is looking for. Put another way, Google wants you to have a good time online. And their goal is to make sure that that searcher, the person, going to google.com and entering the thing, will make sure that that searcher is having a good time. And the reason behind this is actually really, really important to today's topic. You see, Google wants people on their search engine to keep using Google for another search. So Google is naturally invested in helping searchers find that information they're looking for. After all, if we went to a search engine and we were like, oh, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for red shoes or CBD oil. And all we found were spammy sites that, stole our credit card information. It's not going to be a good time. And we'd stop using that search engine. And so Google's natural interest is, hey, let's make sure that searcher actually finds what they're looking for. So a brief digression for a moment. Hi, I'm Kai Davis, and I'm your host for today's presentation. I specialize in helping Shopify businesses grow and rank higher on Google with a focus on high quality SEO strategy. And I'm passionate about helping stores have good SEO and reach more customers online. I'm the founder and CEO of W E-commerce, my small consultancy. I've been in this game for a while. I've been doing SEO strategy and helping my clients with growth marketing since the way back year of 2004. I've been specializing in helping Shopify stores grow since 2014. And I'm incredibly passionate about helping your store have good SEO and not bad SEO. And in the remainder of today's presentation, we're going to talk a bit more about what that good SEO actually is and where you should aim for your store to be, headed as we move into the future. And again, feel free to share questions as they come to mind in the chat. We're going to have a Q&A after the presentation and tackle all the questions we have time for. So today I want to talk about 2 definitions that go into answering this question of what exactly is good SEO. And the first is good SEO is understanding the intent behind your customers' questions and creating content that matches that intent. It's really important to understand this concept of search intent, as well as understand the questions your customers are naturally asking. So let's take an example from my own search history, just to help illustrate how intent sort of features into the search journeys your customers are going through and how you can reach those customers at the right times. So this is a personal search example. I have a senior cat named Coco, and she is the light of my life. I just adore her. She's chilling behind my desk right now. But unfortunately, she's a senior cat. She's a bit more timid. She gets anxiety around strangers like nothing else. And I had a house guest visit for a few weeks a little while ago. And well, I thought, hey, maybe I could find something online to help Coco. Maybe some CBD pet oil would help with her anxiety. And so the first thing I did is I went to Google and I started with the search, hey, is CBD good for cats? And this is an informational intent keyword. And it's a search, for information about a topic. And once I did that search, I came across an info box where is it? Here it is. I came across an info box. You could see it right down there below the ads that helped answer this question for me. Google could tell, oh, this guy, he's asking an informational search, is CBD good for cats? Let's share an informational snippet with him to answer this question and help him understand like, oh, is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? And we could see from this snippet, hey, CBD oil, safe for cats, not a lot to worry about here. And boom, my question was answered and I determined CBD was safe for my cat and I was able to move forward on this search journey. The next question I asked was related. I said, hey, what's the best CBD for cats with anxiety? And this is a commercial investigation intent search. I'm, investigating commercial products and I'm saying, hey, Google, what products do you recommend for, my senior house cat with anxiety? So a bunch of different articles came up and I clicked into the first article, one from Discover Magazine, and it said, hey, we've got a list. We've reviewed 13 CBD oils and we're going to share the best one with you. So I clicked into that article and I scrolled down the big old list and I found number 4. Hey, I thought this might work. It's a product from New Leaf Naturals. It's, a whole plant extract, et cetera, et cetera. It looked like a good one. It felt like a decent one to try. And so then I said, okay, I've found this product. I'm ready to go forward. I'd love to buy it from a local store and support, a local business. And I searched for buy New Leaf Naturals near me. And this is a search with more of a pure transactional intent. I'm saying, hey, Google, I want to buy this thing. Where can I go to buy this thing? And Google said, oh, there's a ton of places you could go to buy this thing. So when I searched, for buy New Leaf Naturals near me, Google was like, oh, hey, here's a map of local stores that might carry it. Here's New Leaf's store locator itself. You could see it down there near the bottom of the screenshot. And then even below that, there's another piece of content, New Leaf's blog on where I could go to even buy CBD oil. My search journey was complete. I'd started off asking this question, is CBD safe for my cat? And now I found a recommendation for a CBD oil that is pet safe and found it sold at a store near me in Tangled Bio. This was perfect. So let's digress for a moment and talk about search intents and content types, because what we just went through here is very similar to what your customers, people buying products from your store or people who want to buy products from your store, are going through on their browsing and their searching journey. So it's important for us to understand what type of content makes the most sense depending on the intent of that searcher, whether it's, informational, commercial, or something else. So let's look at a few examples of the questions I asked, the questions we just searched for, the intent we could assign to that question, and the type of content that makes the most sense to create in your Shopify store for that type of question. Oh, let's see here. So the first example question we asked is CBD good for cats? And that's an informational intent search. We're just searching for, pure information out there. We aren't looking to necessarily buy a thing or do a thing. We're just saying, hey, Google, help me answer this question. And so if you're looking at creating, content to answer informational questions your customers are asking as they browse or search around and look for products like what you sell, you want to focus on writing blog posts about informational intent, keywords, and questions. And we could almost think of that like that, is CBD good for cats question? It's pure information. We could imagine if we ran, a store selling CBD oil for pets or a similar business, hey, all we need to do is create a piece of informational content talking about that question and share our information about it. The next question we asked in that example search journey was, oh, what's the best CBD for cats with anxiety? And that's a commercial investigation intent. We're asking for more information about a commercial purchase. We're saying like, oh, I kind of want something like this. What's the best option? Or what should I take into consideration? The best content to create for those types of commercial investigation intent keywords, people asking like, oh, what's the best type of this thing that you might sell? Again, it's blog posts. Creating blog posts around those commercial investigation intent keywords and queries and searches will just make it very easy for you to have relevant content up on your website that your visitors can find. And then they could almost just move into your funnel and say, oh, I found this article. They sell this product. I'm going to go buy that product. And the third type of question we asked was buy New Leaf Naturals CBD near me. That's a transactional intent keyword or transactional intent search. We're saying, oh, I want to go buy this thing. Where can I buy this thing? One of the best ways to tackle transactional intent searches is with product page optimizations or collection page optimizations. If somebody is searching for something like buy CBD oil, well, it's great to have a collection that's saying like, oh, this is our CBD oil. This is where you could buy CBD oil. Let's get that collection optimized for that keyword or that intent. Or you might decide, oh, our product makes a lot of sense to rank for a transactional intent search like that. Let's optimize that product page. So the title, the headline, the content, they all relate to that question we think or we know or we've seen customers like our ideal customers are asking. And as you can see here, most of these intents, most of these types of searches and the content you want to create, well, they're addressed by creating content on your blog. A blog post, not necessarily always the product or collection pages. It's good to almost see the division here and think to ourselves, oh, for more informational or investigation searches, we want to create blog posts. For more transactional searches, buy this thing, we want to optimize our product and collection pages for those terms. And just an important thing to say here, not all content is created equal. The content you're creating on your website should match the intent behind those questions people are asking. Blog posts might work best in sometimes, products might work best in sometimes, collections might work best in other times, but not all the content is created equal. And again, that content you're creating should match the intent behind the questions your customers are asking. A keyword tip that's really important here is we're thinking about, our customers are searching for these types of things, be it questions or be it keywords or queries or something else. Well, you want to try to avoid creating content for what we could think of as broad keywords that could mean a lot of different things. And it's hard to figure out, oh, is it this or that thing? So let's take a little example here for the keyword red shoes. Now, red shoes is a brilliant example of a broad keyword. And these are keywords that are quite broad, and that makes it really hard for us as that business owner or marketer or person doing search engine optimization. It makes it so much harder for us to understand, well, what is this keyword actually about, or what type of content should we create for this keyword? Broad keywords like red shoes, best avoid it, leave it over to the side. See, the issue is we can't easily understand the intent of that search because unlike, say, an informational intent search like, is CBD good for cats? We don't really know what that person is searching for when they enter something short, a broad keyword like red shoes. Is that searcher looking for red shoes to buy online at an e-commerce store? They might be. Are they looking for information on local brick and mortar stores that sell red shoes like we could see in this map screenshot? Again, they might be. We don't know. Are they looking for information about the 1948 film, The Red Shoes? Again, we just can't know. It's such a broad keyword that we can't easily know from the outside what the searcher is looking for or what information makes the most sense for that searcher. And this really contrasts with a keyword like buy red shoes, which has a hyper clear transactional intent. Somebody searches buy red shoes and we know, oh, they're looking to buy some red shoes for themselves. And maybe they're looking to buy that film, but probably not. They're most likely looking to buy a pair of red shoes. So because of these challenges, broad keywords are best just avoided. You want to, whenever you're thinking about keyword creation or content creation for keywords, you want to analyze a range of potential keywords and, go out, see what your competitors are doing, see what Google Search Console might share, brainstorm yourself. But then you want to analyze these potential keywords and ask yourself, well, are these the most relevant for my business? Is this the most relevant for the customer? And then we even want to take the step of searching those keywords ourselves to see what information Google shares. And as we could see in the screenshot here, for a keyword like red shoes, well, they're kind of just playing the field. We've got those ads at the top. We've got the map unit in the center. We've got the film Wikipedia link at the bottom. Google doesn't really know what people are looking for here for red shoes. And so in our own keyword research, in our content creation, it's important for us just to take a look at these keywords and ask ourselves, oh, is this a specific keyword like buy New Leaf Naturals or buy CBD oil near me? Or is this a really broad keyword like red shoes? And if we determine it's a broad keyword or likely a broad keyword, we just want to put it to the side and not really optimize for that keyword. It's too high effort for too low impact. So the second definition I want to share with you, good SEO is about picking a topic and becoming a demonstrable authority about that topic for your audience, for Google, for everyone out there. See, good SEO isn't just about understanding intent. It's about picking a topic and creating content that just helps you demonstrate, oh, we're a safe choice for this information or for these products. Let's take a look at one of my favorite e-commerce sites and see how they've approached this type of authority content creation. So this is Lake Champlain Chocolates. They're a chocolatier in Burlington, Vermont. Their product photos just make me drool on my keyboard, and their photos and products and content is just delicious. And I love their overall approach to SEO. It's very, very well done. And as a digression, their collection and product SEO is just perfectly on point. If you want inspiration, go check out Lake Champlain Chocolates. They're just absolutely great. You could see here on the screen, they have a vegan Easter chocolate page, or had one up for a bit as we were approaching Easter. And so they're optimizing just for like niche, high value keywords for their business. Vegan Easter chocolate, vegan Easter bunnies, vegan chocolate rabbits. And it's just so incredibly well done. I wanted to share this as an example, but I digress. Let's talk about their excellent content. So what I especially love about Lake Champlain is their authoritative content on their blog. They decided a few years ago to become an authority on chocolate, and their content just perfectly shows it. So we're going to take a look here at some of their high-performing expert content and see how that content both helps position them as an authority and attract relevant visitors to their site. Their blog is all about informational articles, tips, high-quality content about chocolate, candy, and candy-related holidays. They're just nailing this. You're going to love this. So the first article I want to share here is their article on how to make drinking chocolate. A really relevant topic for a store that, sells chocolate, is a chocolatier, sells their own drinking chocolate. So their how to make drinking chocolate article explains their recommended recipe for drinking chocolate, shares more information and directions about how to make drinking chocolate, and links to their own relevant products. And this article actually, as of a few weeks ago, ranked number 4 for the keyword how to make hot chocolate. And that keyword alone, just that one ranking, gets them around 800 to 1,000 visitors each month. Pretty good. They have another article, how is chocolate made from cacao? And that article ranks 2nd for how is chocolate made? Again, very, very relevant for a chocolatier. That one keyword alone, how is chocolate made? That gets them around 600 to 900 visitors each month. And this article goes into, specific steps that it takes to make chocolate. You got to cultivate the cacao, you've got to harvest it, you've got to ferment it, and so on. It's just really authoritative chocolate. If you've ever thought to yourself, how is chocolate made from cacao? This article, just A+ answer to it. Their article on how to store chocolate and keep it fresh goes through actionable tips for storing chocolate, links to the relevant products. And this article ranks number 1 for how long does chocolate last? And that keyword alone, just ranking 1st for that, that gets them 500 to 700 visitors each month. Quite impressive. Another example here, their article, What is Cacao? Explains the definition of coca and cacao, something I was clueless on until I read this, how cacao is used, what that cacao percentage on a bar of chocolate means, tons of relevant information. So the real benefit of this high quality content, beyond sort of that top level keyword we mentioned for each of these articles, is the secondary keywords these articles just naturally rank for. And so while that What is Cacao article is ranking high for the term how to make hot chocolate and getting a bunch of visitors each month, well, it's really the secondary keywords these articles are ranking for that bring in a majority of Lake Champlain's visitors. And these additional keywords, help them get more traffic to their site, and they're just a natural side effect of writing high quality articles. Their article might be targeting the term, what is cacao? But just the natural content, the stories, the links, the information helps it rank for these secondary keywords. So let's look at some examples here. So that one article is ranking 1st for the phrase, what is cacao? That gets them around 800 visitors a month. Again, quite nice. It's also ranking 5th for just the word cacao. And that ranking, 5th place, gets them around 2,200 visitors each month. Quite impressive. They're ranking 9th with that one article for cacao beans and getting around 200 visitors each month. And that one article is also ranking 4th for the phrase, is cacao chocolate? Another relevant search term. And that gets them around 25 visitors each month, and it trails off from there. But what's fascinating to me is that one article, what is cacao? It ranks for 73 different keywords between position 1 and 10 on the first page for all of those 73 keywords. And that basket of keywords for that one article brings them around 5,000 visitors each month. So we looked at, 4 or 5 different articles from Lake Champlain Chocolate. And when we sort of extrapolate from, this one very well-written article ranks for 73 keywords and brings them 5,000 visitors, we start to see, this authoritative content, each one of those articles ranks for a bunch of terms and brings them a bunch of very relevant visitors. That's the true value of high quality content like this. And when, an SEO or a marketer like myself or someone else says, hey, you need to create content for your Shopify website, what they really mean is, you need to create high quality, relevant content for your audience, for a very small definition of your audience, answering questions, sharing information that brings relevant visitors to your site, just like Lake Champlain Chocolates does. So high quality content like Lake Champlain's builds your website's expertise, authority, and trust. That's also known as EAT, which you might have heard in SEO circles before. So what is EAT beyond a very funny reference in part of a presentation about chocolate? EAT stands for expertise, authority, and trust. These are references to signals that Google looks at when ranking content on a website. Again, what's Google's job? Share the most relevant information for a search. Google wants to share information from high quality, trusted websites, and they want to get authoritative information in the search results. So people say, this Google, it's a wonderful website. I keep finding the right information. So when Google decides to rank sites, they're looking for sites that signal they're expert, they're authoritative, and they're trustworthy sources of information. Those are 3 critical factors to keep in mind. You want your website to be expert, authoritative, and trustworthy, just like Lake Champlain Chocolates. So how is Lake Champlain's Chocolates, intersecting with this concept of EAT, expertise, authority, and trust, and helping their website rank higher? Well, in Google's eyes, all of this comes together and adds up to them looking like a trusted source of information. Lake Champlain is publishing high quality content about chocolate. So we could read it and see it. Oh my gosh, these guys, they're experts. They understand chocolate incredibly well. And the history of chocolate, the process of chocolate, the craft of chocolate. They're experts. Well, Lake Champlain has a brick and mortar chocolate store. So we know, they've been in this business for a while. They've built a physical business. They are drop shipping chocolate. They are creating chocolate and selling it online. Well, Lake Champlain is an authority about chocolate. And finally, Lake Champlain's chocolate content is getting linked to, and they have a ton of reviews on Google, on Facebook, on Yelp, on all the different sites. So we know they're a trustworthy website. We aren't going to show up there and order, $500 of chocolate as one does on a Friday and discover, oh my gosh, they stole my money and didn't ship the chocolate. No, they're an actual business. They're trustworthy. People are endorsing them with these reviews. So all of these factors, all of these elements of expertise, authority, and trust, they come together and help Google say, oh, wow, this website is legit. They've got great content. Let's rank that content high for these relevant searches. So for your own Shopify businesses, for your own Shopify stores, to be seen as an authority, you need to start a blog and create valuable content. We need to sort of emulate what we see Lake Champlain Chocolate doing here and create our own relevant, expert, authoritative, trustworthy content for our customers relating to our products and the problems our products help our customers solve. And these could be as simple as, lists, gift guides, expert tips, how-to guides and information, product comparisons. Hey, should you buy, our product A, B, or C? Here are the benefits of each, and now you can make a decision. They could also be customer reviews and case studies. So really big picture, if you're wondering, well, how do we get content that's ranking highly? You need to start a blog. You need to create valuable blog content. You need to be regular about it. But a question often comes up here, well, what if I just don't have a unique point of view? I mean, it's easy for Lake Champlain. They've been doing it for years. They're great at it. What about me? Well, the truth is you want to aim to just create, especially when you're starting out, your own version of the content you want to see there with your own take on topics, articles, and questions that you see out there in the wild. You've got to start somewhere, even if it's just as simple as sharing an opinion, sharing a quick tip. Go ahead and create something, see how it does, and then create another article, and then another article, and then yet another article, and just keep moving forward. Again, just try creating the content anyway. Write stuff, see what you discover and learn along the way, share that content, treat it all as an experiment and see what happens. Your goal shouldn't be, we're going to have the best SEO content ever. That's not the right way to think about this. Your goal should be, how do we create helpful, useful content that our audience, our customers, our prospective customers will value? Bottom line, any sort of content on your Shopify website, be it your homepage, blog posts, collection pages, product pages, whatever, your content should aim to provide value. Give your customers information that helps them solve their problems. That'll make their buying decision infinitely easier. As we can see, good SEO isn't just one thing these days. The days of, SEO just being a knob on your website, hey, we need more SEO, crank it to the max. Those are long gone. Google has gotten smarter. Website visitors and customers have gotten smarter. Good SEO is about understanding who your customers are, what information they're looking for, and how your products and content help those customers solve their problems and relate to what they're searching for. Good SEO still includes elements like using the right keywords in the titles and content of your pages, having a secure website that loads fast, earning high-quality links from relevant websites, press, and blogger product reviews. All of those are still important. None of that has changed. What has changed is good SEO has kind of gotten bigger over the years as the internet has grown and more people have come online. Good SEO now includes researching the questions your customers are asking and understanding the intent behind those questions. Are they looking for information? Are they looking for guidance on which product to buy? Are they looking to buy that exact product now? That depends. And the answer to that question will help you determine what content to create. With your content, you need to aim to become a demonstrable authority about a topic related to your business, products, and customers. If you sell chocolate, you want to become perceived as an authority about chocolate and not, pet supplies or CBD oil, because those don't relate to what you're selling. You need that resonance. You need to become an authority about a topic related to the products you sell and the problems your customers are experiencing. And good SEO also includes starting a blog and creating content that adds value and providing value to your customers through your high quality content. Because I could tell you from personal experience as an SEOer, as somebody selling products online, and somebody who works as a consultant in this space, if your content isn't providing value, your prospective customers will go wherever that value is, and Google will shift over time and say, oh, let's get that value ranking high, not the low value content. So that's the meat of today's presentation on good SEO. And I'm going to have a sip of water quickly, but feel free to add any questions that have come to mind through the presentation or top of mind questions about SEO to the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer them. And I have a small list of questions that people have already submitted. I'll give you all a moment to think of any questions that are top of mind. So one question that came in earlier that I think is a really fun one to kick off with was the question of, well, hey, what's new in SEO these days? I honestly take a little bit of a contrarian view when it comes into, what's new going on here? I think the most valuable thing when it comes to SEO in our businesses is to actually focus on kind of the boring old stuff. Create valuable content, share that content with people in your audience, have a clear understanding of your target market, earn high quality links to your content. But all that said, there are some interesting things coming down the pipeline that I wanted to highlight. And the most interesting one, the one that honestly has me texting friends late at night and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't believe this. Google has started testing different versions of the search engine result pages, the SERP pages on mobile, and their infinite scroll. So just like on Instagram or Pinboard or, other applications, you aren't clicking the next link a bunch. You're just scrolling and seeing more and more content. And in my own experience, this radically changes how customers, myself included, use the search results. Since instead of, looking at the top 10 and thinking, do I want to hit next? Nah, and searching for something else, I'm finding myself going to, search result number 50 or 100, just scrolling and scrolling until I find that content I'm looking for. The reason I'm so excited about this is because I'm expecting it to shift the importance we put on search engine rankings, because I think this is going to nudge it where it's not as important to be in the top 10. What is important is to have relevant information showing up in the search results. So Jan just asked, oh, you're really emphasizing content. Is it really that important? It really, 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 truly is. One of the ways Google works is by, we want to rank for a keyword and we want Google to see us as relevant for that keyword. The primary way Google understands what a page is about and what keywords that page should be ranked for is to look at the content on that page, not the content across the entire site, just that one particular page. So maybe you have a collections page and you say, oh, we really want this to rank, and I'll just call back to that buy CBD oil example. We really want this collection page to rank for that term. You need content on that page that's relevant. And that includes the page title, but it also includes the collection description and the other content lower on the page. So really, as like a fundamental truth of SEO, if you want to rank for a term, you're going to need authoritative, relevant content about that term on that page. And Jan also just asked, is it best to pay for the blog post? I'm not quite understanding that question. If you want to share a little more information in the chat, Jan, go ahead. I'd love to see if I could get you an answer. But content really is the linchpin. It could be content about, topics related to your business and your products, and it could be on your blog, it could be on your homepage, it could be on your product page. But what I find is most Shopify stores that are saying like, we keep doing the things, but we aren't ranking. It's because they don't have any content on product pages, collection pages, homepage, other pages. They don't have blog posts. And without that content, you're just not going to rank for it. And Jan just clarified, is it best to pay for the blog post instead of writing it as an owner? That's a really, really good question. And there's not really a cut and dry answer. So let me share the two sides of the answer that I really enjoy. If you're a store owner with a strong knowledge about your products, your customers, the problems your customers are experiencing that your products help with, then it could often make a lot of sense to write the blog post yourself. You already have this deep knowledge. And so you're able to leverage that by saying like, oh, I'm selling products like this. I've been in the space for a while. Let me write an article that shares what I know about this specific topic or question. So in those cases, writing your own content can work really well. And if you're more of a startup and you don't have a large budget to spend on content, writing that content yourself can just work perfectly. But if you don't have that deep knowledge about the product or the topic or your customers, that's a great spot to find a writer who does, hire that writer to write that content, and share that content on your blog. So really, it comes down to a bit of expertise. Do you have the expertise to write a blog post about a topic or about these relevant topics? If so, feel free to get started yourself. It's a great way just to familiarize yourself with the process of creating that content. Another question from Jan. How could you put content at the bottom of the collection page or product pages? In your theme settings and customizer, there often or sometimes is a toggle to say, oh, show my collection description at the bottom of the page or show this product content here. If your theme doesn't include that customization setting though, that's something you're best off working with a developer or a service like Hey Carson on or Task Husky, just so they could implement that change for you. There's some considerations around like, is it valuable to have content lower down on the page? And it's kind of a toss up, but that's a question for another webinar. Another question that came in, how are we supposed to use keywords effectively through our Shopify store? And that question asker said, keyword research and ranking is something we spend a tremendous amount of time on. And so the biggest recommendations I usually share around using keywords effectively through your Shopify store come down to 2 or so recommendations. The first is it's best to think about each page, be it a homepage, a blog, a product, a collection, targeting one primary keyword. As we saw with Lake Champlain chocolates, like their blog content ends up ranking for a ton of different keywords. And that's fine and that's natural. But I guarantee when they started out writing those posts, they said, oh, we want this post to be, really about what is cacao or how is chocolate made from cacao? And that becomes that primary keyword or primary topic. And then the secondary keywords come in. So it's valuable for us to think about our site content or page content. It's really just targeting one primary keyword. And so like, I'm just riffing here, but just to return to the CBD example, maybe we have one page where we're saying, oh, we want this to rank for buy CBD oil for cats. And we have another page and we say, oh, we want to rank for buy CBD oil for dogs. You shouldn't have these as one page. You should really have it as 2 separate pages, each targeting one of those keywords with relevant content on that page. The other bit of advice I'll share around keyword research and ranking is looking at your competitors is often the best heckin' opportunity you have. So in my own research, when I'm working on a client project, the client might say like, oh, our homepage, we want it to rank for this term, but it's not even showing up. What do we need to do? I'll just Google that term myself and click back through the search results until I find that client site. Maybe they're on page 2, maybe on page 3. Then I'll start to look at the other people ranking for that keyword. So let's say they're on like 12th and they're like, oh, we really want to get to 9th. We want to be on that first page. So I'll look at the content on that particular page and the content for the people ranking 2 or 3 spots above them. So maybe they're in 12th. I'll look at 9th, 10th, and 11th. And I'll essentially compare it and say, okay, what content do they have on their page currently? What content do those nearby neighbor competitors have? What changes need to happen to make my client's page more relevant, more topical, more expert, more authoritative about that topic so they could rank higher? And often that comes down to read that competitor's content, think about what they're sharing or what information they have there that you don't, and work on making your page at least as relevant as their pages. And it becomes an iterative process. So you were 12th, you made some tweaks, now you're 9th. Repeat this, look at 7th and 8th, make some tweaks. Maybe now you're 7th. And again, look at the people above you and just sort of iteratively, incrementally move your way up the search rankings. So to summarize, each page should really only have one keyword or one primary keyword. And always look at your competitors, your nearby competitors, to see what they're doing you aren't, and take inspiration for your strategy for that page's content. I'm just checking the clock here. We got about 7 minutes left, so I think we have time for 2 or so more questions, and I've got a couple more on my list we're going to pull from. But if any other questions come to mind for you all, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll prioritize getting you an answer. So another question, what are the 3 most impactful steps to take to improve SEO for my Shopify store? It's a situation, the asker shares, it's a situation where not a lot of SEO work has been done yet. We're kind of starting from scratch. The 3 most impactful steps, the 3 things I recommend focusing on first, make sure you have the right tooling on your site. So if you're doing any SEO work, Google has 2 free tools. I have a link on my site I'll share with the webinar write-up or the webinar replay, but Google has 2 free tools that every Shopify store should have installed. The first is Google Analytics. This tracks, analytics on where people are coming from, how they're using your site. It's great just to see like, oh, what are the pages that are bringing in the most visitors? And, how are those visitors converting? So absolutely make sure you have Google Analytics installed on your Shopify store. The second tool is another free one from Google called Google Search Console. And this gives you the best insight into the keywords visitors are using to find your store, find your products, find your pages, and click on into it. So make sure you have both of those installed. Beyond that, get the impactful steps for SEO early on are picking a small number of pages to focus on and just making some tweaks to see, we added some content, what changed? So, let's say step 1, you've gone ahead and installed Google Analytics and Search Console. Step 2, you might say, okay, we're just going to pick 3 pages to focus on for the first couple of months. It's a small amount, yes, but it just gives you a smaller arena to start in. So it's not like, oh, I got 40 pages. This is too confusing. It's like, oh, I've got 3. Let's just focus on these. So maybe you pick your collection page or your home page. Maybe you pick the collection that gets the most traffic currently. And maybe you pick a product. So we've installed the tools. We've picked a small amount of pages. Then I think it's valuable to take a look at the keyword each of those pages is ranking for. And Google Search Console could help you see that, for your site for the last 3 months, what are the keywords that have actually brought clicks to your homepage? So that could help you understand, okay, for these 3 pages, the keyword Google thinks is most relevant is, A, B, and C. Then the final step, for these impactful steps to get started, for each of those keywords, search for that keyword, see where you're ranking. Maybe, your homepage is ranking 7th for a keyword. Look at the people ranking 5th and 6th. See what content they've included on their pages, and then take a fresh look at your homepage and say, okay, well, they've shared A, B, C, and D. We've only shared A and B. Can we write something authoritative, expert, relevant about C and include it on the homepage? And how about D as well? Make those changes, add some more content, and give it a few weeks. See, 3 or 4 weeks after making those changes, are you ranking higher? Are you ranking about the same? Or are you ranking lower? So that'll just have you, these steps here, I went a little more than 3, but these steps will just help you get started, get the right tooling in place, and then start really, truly doing SEO on some of your key pages. And final question before we wrap for the day. What does it look like to do a great job at SEO as a small business owner or a team member on a monthly basis in terms of specific actions? In a month, they would ideally do X and Y and Z. The answer to this kind of overlaps with the previous answer. Pardon me. You need to think of this SEO as a loop where you aren't getting overwhelmed. You aren't throwing too many pages at yourself. You're focusing on a small number of pages. And so, let's say month 1, you're a store owner and you implement what I just recommended. Get Google Analytics and Search Console installed. Start taking these steps on your website. Pick a small number of pages. Each month you might do, following that, you might do something like look at those pages you've been working on. See if there are changes in keywords rankings. Are you going up? Are you staying neutral? Are you going down? Then make a decision based on that. Oh, we added that content. We're ranking 2 spots higher. Okay, what else can you do? More content, more relevant content, something else to help that page rank higher. Beyond that, it's always valuable to be looking at pages that are getting a lot of traffic and conversions in Google Analytics, because that could help what are the pages we should focus on next? If you have a page that is converting visitors well, but isn't getting a lot of traffic, that's often a great page to focus on optimizing. Maybe it only gets 20 visitors a month, but you get 5 purchases from those visitors. Well, can you do some SEO to help it rank higher and get 50 or 100 visitors each month and make more purchases? But really on a monthly basis, in terms of specific actions, it's looking at the pages that are ranking, looking at your positions for those keywords, looking at your competitors for those keywords, and then iterating on the content on your website, be it page titles, page content in the body, or content elsewhere throughout the page. So a brief promotional plug. If you, my dear friend and webinar attendee, want more traffic from Google, well, I'd love to help you grow your business with my Shopify SEO strategy and an SEO action plan. And with this service, you get practical, actionable, do this, not that advice to boost your SEO performance. And if you're interested, you could email me at kai@WYourEcommerce and tell me about your store to start that conversation. And a recent client, Jeanette Avelia from a String Theory Yarn Company, shared that the Shopify SEO strategy report was incredible, so helpful, tons of actionable items, and I'd love to do similar for your store. And thank you so much for attending. You should see a presentation or a recording of this presentation in your inbox shortly, just in a day or two. And if you have any questions or comments, or you're interested in working together, you could always reach out to me at kai@WYourEcommerce. Thank you so much and take care.